Good morning. Thank you for coming. I'm excited to share what I have to share today. I made a little change in my presentation that I'm excited to share with you. Hi, my name is Susan Shareko, and I am a certified life mastery consultant with the Brave Thinking Institute. Welcome to the Power of Vision, getting the outcomes you'd love. That is what my presentation will be today. And so what I'd like to do is share my screen so that you can see the slides that I have on there, and then we'll go from there. This is always fun for me. I'm never quite sure if I'm going to do it right or not. So let's pull this up. You know, I did this before, slightly before this, and then it was fine, but now it's being very pesty. That's the joy of Zoom, isn't it? Okay, let's try this again. I should be able to find my share screen button. Why is it not here? There it is. Okay. Now I'm happy. I have my share screen button. I'm going to take this up to first from the beginning. And there we go. Yay! Sorry for the interruption. We've got it now. All right. So, as I say, I'm really delighted to have you here today. This is a very important part of my work to share my story, and that's part of what I'll be talking about today. It's a very powerful workshop when you realize that it's the beginning of how we achieve almost everything. So let's take a moment to take a deep breath together. This is going to center us, bring us to an energetic state where we experience gratitude and the expansive feeling of success, of achieving, of congratulating ourselves. So for the moment, breathe in through your nose, and then exhale slowly through your mouth as if breathing through a straw. Let's do it again. Breathe in and breathe out. And once more, to really get the kinks and outer energy out of our system, breathe in and breathe out. Great. So let me start with a tiny little story. A story about a mother mouse who was leading her children around the house, showing them the lay of the land. And as they round a corner, smack in front of them is a cat. And the cat has the instinct to know there's something around that corner. And so he's already licking his chops and stretching his little claws in anticipation. And the mama mouse, in fear for her children, rears up and shouts at him, "Oh, woof, oh, woof, oh, woof." And the cat gets scared and runs away. The mother composes herself and turns to her babies and says, "Children, never underestimate the power of learning a second language." And that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be talking about the language of success. The reason I tell this story is that we can all learn more than one language. And today we are exploring the language of success. And this is the language of creating the outcomes that we would love. Once we consciously understand this language, we can repeat it. We can make it happen over and over and over again. Anytime we have something in our life we want to improve. Now, the system of success that we're going to be exploring has been developed and utilized for well over 40 years now. And it's been used by tens of thousands of people to achieve the dreams that they wanted, a life they would love living. It is a proven, reliable, repeatable system for helping you to create what matters most to you. So to help you get the best out of this experience, I'd like to suggest that you eliminate any sources of distraction, turn off the TVs and the radios, and put your cell phone on pause so that you can bring your full presence to this moment. Okay, is that good? Great. Okay. So do you have any area of your life that you have something that you'd like to improve? I thought I do. I always have something new that I'd like to do. I'm always creating some new idea. And I bet you do too. So this is 100% of the people do this. So that's great. That's fantastic. So my intention today is to share with you some powerful tools to help you understand and improve the results in your life. By the time you leave here, you will be empowered with three tools, to help you achieve your goals, a greater clarity on your goals and dreams. You're going to feel even more confident in your ability to achieve your goals and dreams. Are you up for that? Okay, I am too. I'm grateful you came to be here today. Did you ever try to achieve a goal or a dream in your life where you had no idea when you first set that goal about how you were ever going to achieve it? Okay, again, almost everyone has done that. I certainly have. There are many things I've done where I really didn't know how I was going to do it, but that just goes to prove something. You are more capable than you realize. We're all more capable than we realize, because none of us knew how we were going to do anything. Our goals and dreams are often born out of the challenges we face. You know, what I've learned that when I speak before different groups is that just like a blade of grass will press itself through cement and seek the light, the same thing is often true for our goals and dreams. They are often born out of the challenges we face or the pain we experience. How many of you have a challenge that you're currently addressing? I mean, some area of life that's causing you pain, perhaps in your career or in a relationship, perhaps with your health or with a financial situation, or maybe the amount of free time you have. Or, you know, there are so many things. Raise your hand if that describes you, any one of those kinds of challenges. And once again, everybody has their hand up. You see, we live in a universe that speaks our dreams and goals to us through two signals: our longings and our discontent. We experience the feeling of longing when we're desiring something that we haven't gotten yet, and the feeling of discontent when current circumstances are something we don't prefer. Both of these, longing and discontent, are catalysts for growth within us. Now, Michael Beckwith has a great quote in which he said, "To change our life, we are often pushed by pain until we are pulled by a vision." So whether it's the pain of a problem, the burning desire for something new, they're both essential for creating new results. Now, I'm going to share my story with you, and I'm going to come off share for a moment because I'd like to make it more personal between us. May I ask you a question? Do you feel as if your life is crumbling down, as if the world is just falling down on top of you? Because that literally happened to me. Some time ago, a landslide came through our home, leaving us without a home or a business location. We experienced, a catastrophe. And when you do that, or you take a great loss, things look pretty bleak. The worst point is in the middle of an emergency, when there is no help. You feel or may be alone. The destruction may be overwhelming, and that sense of not knowing what to do or who to call or the how of it in any way, that there's then a numbness that we call shock. Those were the feelings I was feeling as I came home from work, walked into my house, and saw mud and disaster all through my living room and down the staircase from the second floor. Over the next few days, the situation got even bleaker. The city couldn't help us. In fact, they told us that we were in violation of city codes. FEMA wouldn't help us as that we weren't a mass destruction, and that's what they are there to do. Red Cross couldn't help us. They don't handle individuals either at that level. Our bank would not forgive us or allow us to delay payments for just a little bit of time to help us get back on our feet. And insurance doesn't cover landslide events. It's in the contract, in the small print that you probably have never read it. Okay, so everything looked pretty bad, awful. And I was filled with that raw, gripping kind of fear that takes over you. And I couldn't sleep. It was really a pretty devastating time for me. And it's okay to grieve. I mean, there's plenty to do between taking care of emergency healings that have to, or anything else that may have to happen. But at some point, we learned that we had to pick up again. And we had to pick up ourselves and dust the rubble off, not literally, but dust the rubble off, and do whatever we had to do to get going again. And for us, it literally was a wake-up call. The phone rang. A producer called to ask Peter if he would do some work with him on a new project. Everything around us at the time he took the call was filled with mud. It was totally a wreck. And, there was a part of us that didn't want to go and deal with any kind of work, that did not want to do anything but deal with the mess. But as we even said that, we realized we couldn't wallow in the spilt milk. We couldn't wallow in the mud puddle, the giant mud puddle. Everything was a mess. But we were reminded that to be successful, we need a purpose and a plan. And that was our early training in Napoleon Hill's writings. So that reminded us of our dream when we first came out to California from New Jersey. We wanted to build a movie ranch. So we decided to focus on what we would have to do to get to that outcome. And we didn't know how. We just knew that we would have to take it one step at a time. Peter took that gig and things began to come together. Emergencies end. You survive physically, and then you begin to survive emotionally, mentally, and more. I was fortunate to take help with me when we left the house and when we fled our home. I took a copy of Wayne Dyer's book, There is a Spiritual Solution to Every Problem. And it became my daily reading every morning. And of course, my father's words, when problems come up, there are only two things that can happen. You live or you die. If you live, it's no problem, you go on. If you die, it's over. So the people in my church supported us. I mean, they were amazing. They helped us pack out whatever was left in the house that we could. And they helped us found homes for our animals and ourselves. But the first 6 weeks were pretty grim. And after that, we found a rental house and the real surviving begins. I sort of differentiate between the emergency part of it and when you get into what's a longer term period of surviving. Because we had to tackle our mindsets at that point. We learned that you can have a disaster, but don't let a disaster have you. You can be afraid and you will be afraid, but you don't have to let fear have you. Along the way, I became aware of this process that is a reliable, repeatable process that works if you work it. And so I talk about it all in my book, Rainbows Over Ruins, which I just happen to have behind me here. My book, Rainbows Over Ruins. It takes place over 7 years, actually, between the time that the landslide happened and the book was written at that point. It would be 18 months before we were back in a home of our own. But once we found ourselves feeling blessed by disaster. Not only did we find a space to create a movie ranch, but we also found a much better home that fit our lifestyle more. And I found a passion for teaching and coaching this system to help other people. I'm now living my dream. I absolutely love this new life as I help people like you to discover, design, and live into a life they would love living. So I firmly believe that your vision is one of the most important tools that you have to survive and thrive after any type of disaster, regardless of the outcome you are seeking. So today, during the few moments we have together, I'll share 3 things that you can do to change the circumstances, situations, and conditions in which you find yourself. Remember to practice these principles of vision, of mindset, and action, because when you do, you become unstoppable. So let's get to it. What's your big dream? And how will you feel when you have it in place? I'm going to share some principles with you. I'm going to go back to sharing the screen. Here we go. And as I share it, I'm going to make a promise to you. Today, we're going to look at the Dream Builder program in particular, but through that program and others that I am grateful to be able to and certified to share with you, I can give you 3 principles that you can share right now, apply to any area in which you want to create something in life. These are the keys to creating the outcomes that you want. So if you're in for the possibility of creating something even more amazing for yourself, touch your heart and say, I'm in. Okay, and if you just said, I'm in, does that mean that from this moment on, all your dreams will come true? Of course not, but it is the first step. So here's my promise to you. I'll give you everything I can in the time we have together. And at the end of this presentation, many of you will want to take this information further and integrate it into your life. And I have a special gift that you're going to love that I will give you at the end of this presentation. So let's get started. Today, I'm sharing with you the 3 keys to mastering your results and getting the outcomes you'd love. Do you realize that each one of us is creating results in our lives all day, every day, in every area of our lives? Well, many people go along living their lives as they normally do, rolling with the punches, going with the flow, taking it as it comes. And this is what we call living by default. Their lives are directed by the comfortable things they typically do, without much conscious planning. In fact, we probably spend more time planning a weekend retreat than we do in planning our lives. But on the other hand, highly successful people create life by design. That means they set a clear intention for what they would love and consciously create those outcomes in their life. Now, there are 4 major domains in our lives in which we experience results: health and well-being, love and relationships, vocation, time and money freedom. You're having results in those areas of your life right now. Some results you may love, and other results not so much. But here's the good news. No matter what the results, no matter how big of a challenge it may feel to you or how long those results have existed, you absolutely have the power to create the exact results you would love to have in your life. And to prove it to you, I'd like to invite you to play a little game with me. I'm fortunate to get to speak to numbers of groups, and sometimes one of the organizers will come up and talk to me and ask if I could do this presentation to their people, which I am always happy to do. But whenever I go, this is one of the exercises that we play. So I'm going to invite you to play the game with me too. I'm going to give you 10 seconds to look around the room for something. I'm going to invite you to look around the room and see everything that you could see that is yellow. So try to remember everything that is yellow. Ready? 10 seconds, go. Look for yellow. Count all the things that are yellow. 3, 2, 1, stop. Close your eyes. And with your eyes closed, I want you to recall all the things you saw that were red. Okay, open your eyes now and raise your hand if you saw more yellow than red. Okay, we all do that. And this proves a point. Every one of you can improve the results you're getting in your life. Because when you expand the pattern for how you create those results, things happen. And you do that by raising your awareness of that system. That's exactly what the Dream Builder program is all about. It's a reliable, repeatable, predictable system for success. And today, we're going to dive into the 3 main points of the system, the first ones, that will support you in increasing your results and moving forward towards your goals. And it happens because of this reticular activation system. It's because there's an area in our brains where the job of that part of the brain is to mediate our overall level of consciousness or awareness. So It brings into our awareness what we are looking for and filters out of our awareness what we are not looking for. It's what we pay attention to that we will see. And we know this: seek and ye will find. There you go. Most of us have been taught to focus our thoughts on what is reasonable, what is safe, why we can't, what's missing, what problems we might face, and why it won't work. So if we want to change our results and see the things that do work, we start by changing our focus. And this increased awareness is an important part of learning the patterns for success. So I'm going to introduce you to the first key to get the outcomes, and we're in just a couple of minutes. But before we go there, I have a couple of important concepts to share with you. And these ideas will support you in expanding your awareness of success in the areas of life that matter to you. As we touched on earlier, there are 4 domains of life in which we experience our results: health and well-being, love and relationships, vocation, time and money freedom. And every one of us is having results in those areas of life right now. The results you are getting are a perfect reflection of your awareness in those areas. So let's expand our awareness together by looking at something called the results formula. This formula says thoughts cause feelings. Your thoughts cause your feeling, and you know this. I mean, how do you feel when you've lost your wallet? Your nervous system, your heart races with fear. You're all upset. And how do you feel when you realize it's in your coat pocket? Oh, okay. You relax with relief. You are feeling much better. When you think joyful thoughts, you feel happy. When you think scary thoughts, your heart beats faster. Thoughts affect your physiology. By universal law, your feelings are expressed into your actions. And when we feel confident, we feel energized, and we take different actions than we would if we were sad or depressed. And we know that the actions contribute to our results. It's simply a matter of the law of cause and effect. So follow me here. Your thoughts cause your feelings cause your actions cause your results. Yet most people don't get this. Most people look at their results, their circumstances, situations, and conditions, and they call those are their causes. Actually, they call them their B causes. I can't start a new business because I'm too old, or because I'd lose all my benefits. I can't take time off because I don't have the money, or I don't have enough time and my boss won't let me. I can't find the love of my life because I'm not young enough, or attractive enough. I can't because. Well, what's the true cause of our results? It's right here, our thoughts. Your thoughts are caused by your results are caused by what you've been thinking, and that's the first cause. And because the truth is, you don't get not to think. You are always thinking. You can choose to, your thoughts. You can let an old habitual pattern that you've been thinking run your life. It's up to you. But the point is, though, if you want to know what you're thinking, look at your results, because results never lie. So when you go to create results, we want to pay attention to our thoughts. And this is something we call notice what you're noticing. Notice where your feet are in your shoes. Touching the ground, or don't you have shoes on? Notice that you can feel the socks on your feet, or the lack of socks. Notice that you can feel your body sitting on a chair, on a seat, on a sofa. Notice you can feel the air on your skin. And now notice you have the ability to notice these things. That's called noticing what you're noticing. And you can do the same thing with your thoughts. You can notice what you're thinking, and you can notice how your thinking affects how you're feeling. So right now we're going to apply this results formula and the notice what you're noticing to do a little to your life. We're going to do a little life assessment. Get a pen and a pencil and a journal or a piece of paper. And we're going to do a life assessment. I'm going to present some ideas to you and give you an opportunity to consider your current results. I'm going to invite you to notice how you are feeling about each area in your life. And as I make these statements, make note of what feels true for you. So you might be a person who doesn't know what your dream is. You just know there's something more that you're wanting and desiring. You might be a person who has lots of dreams and you don't know whether to choose one or to create them all at once. You might be a person who has achieved lots of success and you're not feeling all the fulfillment you want to feel and not quite making the difference you want to make. Well, every one of us has a dream inside us somewhere, even if we're still endeavoring to figure it out or achieve it. The exercise that we are doing or about to do is designed to help you put you in touch with the part of you that has the dream. So what we're going to do now is consider the results you are currently experiencing in each of the 4 domains of your life. I'm going to offer some prompts for you to consider to inspire your thinking about your results. So go ahead and get a new piece of paper or top of a page for each of the 4 domains. And we're going to begin with health and well-being. You might be a person who feels stuck in your ability to transform your life, your health. You might be a person who has relatively good health, no symptoms, but you know there's more vibrancy and aliveness you could feel. Now, on a scale of 1 to 5, if you look at these, I want you to note where you fall. 1 being not fulfilled at all and 5 being fulfilled completely. And make a note of that in your journal. Okay, now using a new page, I want you to write love and relationships across the top. And let's consider the results in your love and relationships domain. You might be a person who longs to have a beautiful, deep, and passionate relationship with a loving and caring partner. Or you might be a person who would love to deepen, expand, and have more fun with a relationship you are already in. On a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being not fulfilled at all and 5 feeling completely fulfilled, go ahead and make a note of that number with the relationship that you're already in. Okay, vocation. Let's look at your vocation is your creative expression, your career, or how you share your gifts in the world. You may be a person who feels stuck in a job you don't like. You might be a person who likes your work, but you work too many hours and you want more time freedom. On a scale of 1 to 5, as we look at your current vocational results, 1 being not fulfilled at all and 5 being completely fulfilled, go ahead and make a note of that number in your journal. Time and money freedom. Our 4th domain. Use a new piece of paper and let's consider the results in your time and money freedom. You might be a person who doesn't have the money freedom to do the things you really want to do or to give and contribute to the causes and organizations that matter to you most. You might be a person who's missing important moments and not going where you want to go, traveling as much or having as much fun and play in your life as you would like. Or you might feel out of balance, like you have more time than money or more money than time, and you'd love to feel more in harmony in your life. So on a scale of 1 to 5, are you in your current time and money freedom results, 1 being not fulfilled at all, 5 being completely fulfilled? Go ahead and make a note of that number in your journal. So let's take a moment and reflect on your life assessment here. As we considered each of the domains in your life, and you looked at your current results, you gave a rating on a scale of 1 to 5 in each one of those. Pay attention to your thoughts about these results. This is not a place for judgment. There's no right or wrong. There's no good or bad. This is just a reflection how you feel right at this moment. And you are likely to be feeling a pull for more or less of something, which is a signal that part of you wants to do something different to get different results. So we spoke about this earlier. Noticing your longing and discontent, your longing and your discontent. You are paying attention to and noticing what would you love more or less of in your life. So take a look at the ratings you gave in each domain and circle the area with the lowest rating. How long have you felt this discontent? How long has this area of your life been sending you signals? Go ahead and write down your responses. How long? And what is it costing you to maintain these results? What is it costing for this ongoing discontent in your life? Whatever your results have been up until now, you have the power within you from this moment forward to create the results you love. And it all starts right here with your thoughts. Everyone has a dream inside us somewhere. So this brings us to the first key to mastering your results. And it's also the #1 secret of dream building. It's designing your dream. When you would love different results in your life, you plan for them. Just like you get a clear blueprint when you go to design a house. The same is true with your dream. Without a clearly defined blueprint, you cannot build your dream or anything else. Howard Thurman, who was Martin Luther King's mentor, wrote, "Don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive, and then go do that, because the world needs more people who come alive." So I would love for you to come alive with your dream. So on your piece of paper, write down what's on the screen now. Clarity is power. When you become clear on what it is you really want in life, you begin to see opportunities and resources that you may otherwise have entirely missed. Things seem to appear out of the blue. No rhyme or reason for why they came into your life. So let's design the blueprint for your dream, and let's make it crystal clear. And for our purpose and time available today, I invite you to choose only one area of your life that you would like to improve. And during our assessment, which area of your life was feeling the greatest cost? And I say, let's turn up the focus on that area for this exercise. So now please have your pen and paper ready. In a moment, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to write out what you would love most in this area of your life. We're going to step into an imaginary time machine and go forward 3 years. What would you love? What would you love your life to be like 3 years from now? What outcomes do you want? Suspend any urge to know how you're going to get these results in your life for them to happen. And if someone gave you a magic wand, what would you love to have in your life? So if you're willing, close your eyes and take a deep breath. And imagine that you got into this time machine and you are now 3 years in the future. And 3 years from now, everything you wanted completely worked out. You have all the time and money and other resources required. What would you love? What's happening in that area of your life? If you knew it could not fail, what would you be doing? See yourself doing it. Who are you with? See them with you. How does it feel? Feel it. Let your imagination run with it and dream big. Okay, gently open your eyes. And now I'm going to give you 2 minutes to describe on paper everything you just pictured in your imagination. And would you please Write at the top of your page, I am so happy and grateful now that, and take 2 minutes to be as clear as possible as you write out this dream. And music is playing in my mind. Do, 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 do. I'm afraid it's the Jeopardy theme. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. I suppose you don't need to hear that. But 1 minute left. Thirty seconds remaining. Ten seconds. Okay. Take a deep breath with me. Whew. What would you love? And I want you to write at the end of this writing, this or something even better still. This or something even better still puts out a powerful signal that what you've expressed here is that your answer in your current awareness. It's like holding your hands out with open, out and open, so that you are willing to receive something even more powerful and more beneficial than what you have said, allowing it into your life. So congratulations. You have just created your life by design. This is the first key to mastering your results. Knowing what it is you would love and describing it is the first steps in bringing in the results, new results in your life. And let me tell you why this new first step is so important. Everything is created twice, first in thought, then in form. I mean, if you think about it, look around your room. The clothing you're wearing, the chair you're sitting in, the table you're writing on, the windows, the walls, the very building was first someone's thought before it became a tangible thing. Someone had to think it up before it could be built up. And that is what you are doing today with your life. You are thinking up the design. You are designing your vision, designing your dream, designing your life. And this brings us to the second key for getting the results you want. And that is deciding for your dream. Just like we experience results throughout our day, we also make decisions many times for each moment of the day. It might be what time to wake up in the morning, or it might be what we're going to cook for dinner or to get takeout. From simple decisions to more rigorous ones, we make multiple choices every day. Whatever we decide influences our results. Even the smallest choices can have a great impact. And that's why it's important that we know how to make empowered decisions. Decisions we make will determine our results. So to master our results, we want to master our ability to make decisions. Early in my career, I had the opportunity to study with the best-selling author and renowned life coach, Bob Proctor. He said this: there is a single mental move you can make, which in a millisecond will solve enormous problems for you. It has the potential to improve almost any personal or business situation you will ever encounter, and it could literally propel you down the path to incredible success. We have a name for this magic mental activity. It is called decision. It has been proven that highly successful people are willing to decide for what they would love, even in the absence of knowing how to bring it about. Some people want to know every step before they decide. They want green lights down the whole street before they'll back out of the driveway. But I want to share a story with you right now, because I'm going to take us off this shared screen here as well. If I can find my way to do that. Wait. Okay. I'm going to lower this for a minute and we'll come back and share screen later. Okay, good. All right, there I am. The story I'm about to tell you is another example of a firsthand example of how this process works. And there are no slides to go with it, so I won't bore you with looking at the one slide. But you heard my story. Now, this is another firsthand example. And it's a story about a woman named Judy, who was a single mom with 2 kids, and they went through the Dream Builder program. Her situation may be very different from yours. However, the steps she took are exactly what you can do to achieve your dreams. And in reality, it's the same process for me. And no matter how big your dream is, you will go through these kind of questions and decisions to make in order to move your dream forward. Judy didn't have a lot of education. She worked in a fast food restaurant by day and took in seamstress work at home by night. She lived in a tiny one-bedroom apartment with her kids. And what her dream was to own a home. She wanted to have a nice, spacious home for the 3 of them. So she came across a program just like the one we're doing right now. And she decided that if she was ever going to change her life, she needed to do something and she would need support. So she took a huge leap, decided for her dream, and enrolled in the Dream Builder program. Now, this was a tough thing to do, but she got up the courage and decided to change her life. She then told her coach the outcomes that she wanted was to own her own home, but she only had $500 a month for rent. And she did not believe that there was any way that she could ever buy or even rent a house for $500 a month. And her coach asked her to describe the house that she dreamed of. And Judy really had a hard time doing that. It was a struggle. But eventually she did. She came up with a description of the house and told her coach exactly what it was that she wanted. But then she would say, but I only have $500 a month. I can never get it. It's impossible. Well, knowing her dreams can come true, Judy's coach said to her, well, now that you have a mental picture of the house, go out and look for it. Now, Judy thought this was crazy, and she told her coach, I only have $500 a month. I can't get a house for $500 a month. But the coach encouraged her to look anyway. And after 2 weeks, Judy called her coach and said very excitedly, I found my dream house, but it's $900 a month. I can't do that. There's no way I can do that. Now, had Judy been on her own, this probably would have been the end of that story. And to this day, she still might be living in that tiny little 1-bedroom apartment. But her coach, on the other hand, knew the language, the mindset, and the question to ask. So the coach asked Judy, what if you didn't know it was impossible and you really thought there was a chance? What would you do? Now, at first, Judy couldn't accept this premise. But after a week or so, she thought, well, okay, what would I do if I thought it was possible? And she got the answer. She would write a letter to the owner explaining her situation. And in the letter, Judy described 40 things she would personally do to improve the home if the owner would provide the materials and she could rent the house for $500 a month. Well, 3 weeks later, she got a call from the owner and he said, I don't know why I'm doing what I'm doing here, but something in your letter really won't leave me alone. Here's the deal. You sign a contract outlining what you'll do every quarter, and I'll let you live in the house for 1 year for $500 a month. Judy immediately called her coach. She had a giant, you could just hear the giant smile in her face as she said, we're moving in 30 days. I'll have my dream home. Isn't that a wonderful story? I think we should just give Judy a really big hand wherever she is now. But the story doesn't end there. Over the course of the year, Judy did everything she promised she would do. And within 3 years, Judy owned that home, and she had learned a whole new language of thinking thanks to her coach, and had started a new career. She started her own home-based business. And so she gets to spend more time with her children, her income soared, and her life has a whole new meaning. There is a book out there called The Obstacle is the Way. And it's a good one to keep in mind here. The obstacle may be the way you get through it. So the key is that you must make a firm decision for what you want before you will bring the dream into reality. For any new process to begin, and no new path can be forged until a decision has been made. But once it's a firm decision, even in the absence of perfect conditions, a whole manner of new things begin to occur and rush to your aid for the fulfillment of your decision. Let me show you what I mean. And I'll bring my slide back up. Hang on a second. Let's share this again. This makes me crazy. Sorry, guys. Oh, that's where'd it go? Go back. I've got to go. Pardon me, the slides got out of whack while we were talking, and I'm catching up with myself now. Hang on. This is the one I want. Okay, current slide. Here we go. So sorry. Would you read this to yourselves? And then I will read it so everyone understands who's just listening. According to research at Stanford University, it doesn't matter what order the letters in a word are. The only important thing is that the first and last letter be in the right place. This is because the human mind does not read every letter by itself, but the whole word as a whole. Isn't that amazing? I mean, looking at that paragraph, it would seem that it's completely unintelligible. When the first letter and last letter are in the right place, the middle can be jumbled up, but your mind can still make sense of it and read it. So I shared this with you because it's applicable to your vision for the new life that you want to lead. After your life assessment, you now recognize your current results from where you are right now, right? And then after journaling, you knew, well, you went through every domain and you know what you would love in your life. You recognize your dreams and where you want to go, right? So here's what matters. What happens in the middle between the results you have now and the outcomes you want. Any idea how you're going to bring that dream about? Well, exactly. Jumbled letters in the middle are the words. That's the how. And we want to suspend the how. We're going to refuse to let the unknown stop us from deciding to move forward toward our dream. Now, your mind has a way of making sense of it all. All it takes is being willing to decide. And it starts by saying to yourself, today's the day I'm going after my dream. Today's the day I say no to the doubts and the reasons it won't work. And I say yes to the possibilities and the opportunities. Today's the day I'm going to suspend belief in conditions and instead believe in the power breathing me. So we've looked at the first and second keys to mastering your results, designing your dream, and deciding for your dream, which brings us to the third key for getting the outcomes you want, which is befriending your fear. What does that even mean? Making friends with fear? Yes. It means you can have fear, but you don't let fear have you. The author of the book, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, said the value of your decision depends upon the courage you have to make them. So when we decide for a dream, you have here that we've done today, there's a part of you that says, yes, I'm going to do this. And there's another part of us that rises up and says, yeah, right, that's not going to happen. How are you going to do that? You've never done that before. Where are you going to find the time? Who do you think you are? Where will you get the money and resources to do that? Well, how many of you have heard those paradigms in your head before? These are just simply old paradigms that are trying to do this to pull us back to our old comfort zone. The paradigm does this in three ways. They're called the 3 Ds. The first D stands for delay or distraction. It's what happens when you come home late from work and you say, I'm going to put off my run. I don't want to do it tonight. The second one is dissuasion. It's all right. I deserve a break. Besides, I'm not seeing any results anyway, so it's probably not worth the effort. Or the third is DEFCON 1. This is when a sense of fear and anxiety set in, often with physical symptoms that can lead to giving up on a dream altogether. So, and we don't want that to happen, do we? It's not a matter of if the 3 Ds are coming, but when they will show up. I want you to be aware of paradigms so that you'll recognize them. Excuse me. So you'll recognize them when they do show up as you get better at mastering your results. The truth of the matter is that when a paradigm shows up, it's really good news. It means you are on the green growing edge of your life and shifting results in your life. So there's no reason to fear the paradigms in your life. So I'd like you, so sorry, I really have just got a tickle in my throat here. I want you to notice the part of you that when you think of a dream, says, heck yeah. Pay attention to that feeling for a moment. And then as you do that, you may notice that nagging part of you that says, all right, who do you think you are? You don't have what it takes. And it's a part of you that asks, what if I fail? That is the voice of fear. It's the part of you that wants to stay in the status quo. That's your paradigm again. And often fear will disguise itself as practicality. It's going to say, it's not going to say to you, I'm here to kill your dreams. It's too smart for that. It will say, I'm here to keep you safe. I'm here to make sure you don't experience that kind of pain again. I'm going to make sure your kids are taken care of. I'm here to make sure you're not embarrassed. It's a voice that says, now's not a good time, wait till later. It says, you don't have the money for that. That's irresponsible. You don't have the experience or the credentials. Who are you to have this dream? Raise your hands if you have heard from this voice today. Okay, so what if you fail? Have you ever had a failure in your life? Raise your hand. You know what? We all have. And I can prove it. Just look at this picture. When we were babies, we all started out as non-walkers. As a non-walker, you saw people around you walk on their hind legs instead of all fours. And you wanted that kind of freedom for yourself. You wanted to be upright and not floor bound. So you rose, you locked your eyes on that toy or cookie that you wanted. You gave it your best shot, trying to take some steps. And what happened? You fell down. What did you do next? You rose up again. And you tried to take another step and you fell down. And when you're learning to walk, I mean, did you ever say, well, that's it, I'm never going to be a walker? Or did you rose up and kept going, and with each try you took a few more steps and a few more until finally you were walking? Something happens when we become adults. We stop giving ourselves permission to fail. If we fall down in business, we say, I guess I'm not meant to be a business owner. If we fall down in love, we said, I guess love isn't in the cards for me. But we learn to walk by falling down. The truth is, falling down and getting back up is actually the key to achieving our dreams. We befriend our fears and we give ourselves permission to fail enough to succeed. Great dream builders are willing to fail and rise again. And you know about these people and their stories, and now you could see that how they've learned to walk by falling down. For example, Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey was fired by TV executives because she was not fit for TV. But she rose up and kept going, and now she has her own network, her own studio. At Canfield and Mark Victor Hanser put together a proposal for a book with 101 short stories in a single book, and their proposal was rejected by publishers 144 times. Now there are 250 different versions of Chicken Soup for the Soul. Walt Disney. First, this is Steven Spielberg. He was rejected from USC Film School 3 times, but he kept going. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination and went on to form the Disney Empire, which is worth somewhere in the $100 million. My point, people with great success stories also have experienced great failures. In fact, fear and failure are prerequisites for achieving great dreams. So when the voice of doubt questions you and asks you, what if you fail? Let your response be, bring it on. I might fail, but if I do, I will rise up and keep going, and I will succeed. So how do we give power to the part of us that wants to move forward? When we hear that small voice that wants to play small, there's a whole process to that I take my clients through in the Dream Builder program. But for our purposes today, I'm going to give you one thing you can do. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. So when you notice your paradigm show up, whatever form that it shows up in, like fear, and you start thinking small, here's what you do. Interrupt that thought and say, not today, fear, not today, and reconnect to your vision. Refocus your mind on your dream. All those thoughts that dissolve your discontent and answer your longings. Focus on what you would love. That dream must always bring you alive and have good in it for others. Put the fear out of your mind and instead bring to mind your dream. And then this, take action. Just thinking about your vision, your dream, and even writing it down is not enough to make it happen just poof like that. You must choose to do your part. And that means doing it afraid. So take a moment now and look at what you've written down as your dream, and then ask yourself, what is one thing I can do? What is one action I can take in 5 minutes that would move me in the direction of my dream? And there are probably a lot of things that you could do. If you're looking for the love of your life, it might be that you join a club to meet, like-minded people with mutual interests. If you want to start a business, you might want to do a Google search for a business plan. You get the idea. So I'm going to give you 30 seconds to think into that for your dream, okay? I'm just going to reset my clock here. Think into it. This is for 30 seconds. To journal some possible action steps that you could take. Remember, it took you many attempts at taking steps before you learned to walk, and that was an important life milestone. So is your dream. What is one thing you can do? All right, great. So raise your hand. If you thought of at least one thing you could do, one action step that you can take in the direction of your dream. And now that you have a better understanding of what it means to befriend your fear, we're going to take a look, come up with a story. We're going to take a look at a story that I promised I would tell you at the end. But let's recap what we've covered so far. A nice recap. We have expanded your awareness of the pattern for success, that it increases as you expand your awareness, your success, you also increase the results. You've learned to change your results, you must change your thinking, and you've learned to generate new ideas by asking the question, what would I love? We've learned the 3 keys to getting the outcomes and results you want, which are 3 of the 10 principles of the Dream Builder program that I teach. The first key is designing your dream. Check. You have a blueprint of what you want to achieve, and the clearer your blueprint is, the more power you have. You have decided. Second key is deciding for your dream. Check. And the power of making decisions. You decide for the thing you want is in the absence of knowing how to do it. And the third key is befriending your fear. Check. Fear and failure are prerequisites for your greatness. Befriend your fear. Shift your paradigms to achieve your dreams. And above all, remember, you are worthy of your dream and a life you love. Now, let me ask you this. Raise your hand if you feel connected to these ideas and know that if you really implemented them, they would make a difference in your life. Awesome. Okay. I'm going to close with a story, but first, my gift to you. As promised at the beginning of this presentation, I have a special gift for those of you who are ready to take action on your dream. Between my speaking and coaching schedule, I carve out some time each week for strategy sessions. Now, these are a 30-minute phone call, basically, where we get clear on exactly what you want, what you would love to create, and the next most important step you can take that will move you in the direction of your dream. Now, this one-on-one session is valued at $250. Now, some of you in this room already know that you're ready to invest in achieving your dreams. So for you, here's the next step, some one-on-one time together with me over the phone, where we can invest in you, your dream, and discover the path for how you're going to get there. I am offering you a strategy session completely complimentary at no charge. That's my gift to you. How many of you are serious about achieving your dream and would like to have a strategy session? Okay, so raise your hand. Wonderful. Here's what we're going to do. I have 5 strategy sessions on my calendar available in June. Again, with a value of $250. And post. My website will send you an email, a link to a page where you can fill out the form and take you to my Calendly space, and you can click the link, fill out the Calendly form, and book a strategy session. There are limited spots, first come, first serve, and remember the power of taking action. If there aren't any time slots left, fill out the form anyway. And if my schedule opens up, then I'll give you a strategy session as well. I hope you'll do that right away, because these sessions do fill up. And I look forward to supporting as many of you as I can in this process. All right, let's look. Let me close with this story. William H. Murray. William H. Murray is known as one of the 5 top mountain climbers of all time. But he didn't start out that way. And in fact, he almost let the opportunity completely slip through his fingers. Most mountain climbers will tell you that Mount Everest is the greatest achievement for any mountain climber. And that is to summit Mount Everest. Now, a man named Edmund Hillary was putting together a team to attempt to summit the mountain, and he wanted Murray to join him. And at that point, no one had ever summited Mount Everest. And the effort was going to require an investment of time and money, and each member of the team was going to have to pay his own expenses. So when Hillary invited Murray, Murray thought, I would love to be on that expedition, but how much is it going to cost? And when confronted with the price, he said he saw no way of coming up with that much money. So he had to decline the offer, and Hillary went on the climb without him. Hillary's team had a great expedition, but they still did not reach the summit. And a couple of years later, Edmund Hillary was putting together another expedition, and he sought out Murray once again. And Hillary said, Murray, we all want you on the team. Please come with us this time. And for the second time, William H. Murray asked how much it would cost to go on the expedition. And once again, when confronted with the price, Murray said no. The number was more than he believed possible for himself. He declined based on conditions. So Hillary and the team hiked Everest without him a second time. They got further up the mountain, but still did not reach the peak. Deja vu, and Hillary talks to Murray again. And for the third time, Hillary says, listen, Murray, we're going to go one more time. And I think we're going to reach the summit this time, because when we came down last time, I looked back at Everest and I said, I will climb you because you're not getting any bigger and I am. So this time when Hillary asked Murray to come with the team, Murray asked a different question. He said, how much is the deposit? Because Murray decided that he would go with the team. He had no idea how he was going to pay for the trip, but the how didn't matter. He was committed. He put his initial payment down and he was on his way. As it turned out, Murray attracted all the financial resources required to go on that full expedition. And it was Murray who discovered a southern route on Everest that allowed the group to summit the mountain. Now, Murray wrote about this in his book, Evidence of Things Not Seen. And one of the famous quotes from his book, absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. Let that sink in. Absence of evidence is simply absence of awareness. So you have a Mount Everest level dream, and perhaps there's no clear path to it at this point, but that doesn't mean a path doesn't exist for you. It just means that you are still growing your awareness to be able to see things you can do to generate the result you want. And I am honored to be able to support you in learning the key to master those results. I'm going to close this workshop with another famous quote from Murray's book. Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans, namely, that the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur to help one that would never otherwise have occurred. A whole stream of events issues from the decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance, which no one could have dreamt would have come their way. I learned a deep respect for one of Goethe's couplets. Whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. You have a splendid dream. You wrote it down, you feel it, you made a decision for it. And to achieve the outcomes you want, you get to decide for it again and again, no matter the circumstances, no matter the fear, no matter the failure. You get to decide it for it when it's uncomfortable and you don't feel like it. Because there's one elementary truth. You commit to your dream and befriend the fear, because when you do, a whole stream of events issues from the decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance, which you could not have dreamt would have come your way. So for those of you who are willing to commit to your dream, and for those of you who would love to be supported in reaching these outcomes, if you would love to have a coach to help you summit your own Everest, respond to my email, complete the form, book the Calendly, and send it back to me. And we can talk, one day we'll talk at the back of the room. But remember, as you go on with the rest of your day, know that what is inside you is far greater than any challenge you're facing. You have incredible power within you. This is your moment. This is your day to take bold action. Because as Goethe says, whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Genius, boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. It has been a privilege to have spent this time with you today. Thank you very much for attending. We all have dreams. Let's start building them. Let's start getting them and become a dream builder. Thank you so much. Have a great day, everybody.